It is 1:03 in the afternoon on October 23, 1989. At a chemical complex on the outskirts of Pasadena, Texas, a maintenance worker reaches for two air hoses to reconnect a valve. The hoses are identical in size, identical in shape, identical in color. There is no physical way to tell them apart. To the human eye, they are interchangeable. He connects them, and he connects them in the wrong order. He doesn't know it yet, but he has just armed a bomb. 90 seconds later, the Phillips 66 Houston Chemical Complex produces a fireball visible from downtown Houston. The blast registers 3.5 on the Richter scale, shattering windows 8 miles away. 23 people are dead. The financial damage reaches $1.4 billion. And here is the forensic verdict that haunts the industry to this day. This was not an accident. It was the inevitable result of a logic error in design. A failure of mistake proofing that allowed a single human hand to bypass $1 billion worth of engineering. Why were these hoses designed to fail? And why did Phillips ignore their own auditors who predicted this exact catastrophe months before it happened? The Phillips 66 complex was not a refinery in the traditional sense. It was a plastics titan. It produced high-density polyethylene, the durable plastic in everything from milk jugs to fuel tanks. To create this, the plant ran enormous pressurized loop reactors. Imagine a sealed, circular pipe system where ethylene gas and chemical catalysts scream around the loop at pressures exceeding 700 pounds per square inch. At that pressure, the gas isn't just a fire hazard. It's a fluid with the energy of a localized hurricane. Think of the reactor like a pressure cooker operating at 10 times its rated load, running 24/7 in a building full of people. As the plastic pellets formed, they settled into vertical tubes called settling legs. These legs frequently clogged. To clear them, a team had to isolate the leg from the live reactor using a Demco ball valve. Close that valve, and you have a steel wall between you and the pressure. Leave it open, or wire it so that closed actually means open, and you are standing in front of a loaded cannon. Engineering disasters are rarely the result of a single break. They are a sequence of ignored signals. Failure 1. The contractor gap. The workers on site weren't Phillips employees. They were hired labor from Fish Engineering. Phillips' own internal audits had flagged that these contractors lacked specialized process training. OSHA later found 30 separate instances of skipped safety training. The warnings were in the filing cabinet. The knowledge was not on the floor. Failure 2. The Poka-yoke defeat. This is the mechanical heart of the disaster. The Demco valve was pneumatic, controlled by air pressure. 2 hoses, one to open, one to close. In high-stakes engineering, we use a principle called Poka-yoke, or mistake proofing. If these hoses were different sizes or had different fittings, they could never be crossed. But these were identical. The design relied entirely on a tired worker's memory rather than physical reality. Failure 3. The invisible warning. When the crossed hoses forced the valve open, 85,000 pounds of explosive gas erupted. But there were no automated hydrocarbon detectors, no sirens triggered by sensors. The only warning system in place was the human eye, workers seeing a shimmer in the air and running for their lives. The moment of failure, 90 seconds, 1:03 p.m. The valve cycles open. The reactor dumps 99% of its contents in seconds. 85,000 pounds of ethylene and isobutane don't drift. They jet outward, forming a dense, invisible vapor cloud moving at downwind speed across the facility. The workers have 90 seconds. At 1:05 p.m., the cloud finds an ignition source. The initial blast carries the energy of 2.4 tons of TNT. It is so violent that it shears fire hydrants clean off their underground pipes. Instantly, the water pressure drops to 0. The very system designed to fight the fire was decapitated by the first explosion. 13 minutes later, a 20,000-gallon isobutane tank detonates. Then a second reactor. Then a third. For 10 hours, the Pasadena sky stays black. Forensic verdict and legacy: when the smoke cleared, 23 were dead and 314 were injured. But the real legacy of the Phillips 66 disaster isn't just the $4 million fine. It is the birth of federal law. In 1992, directly because of this fireball, OSHA enacted 29 CFR 1910.119, the Process Safety Management Standard. It turned good advice into federal law. It forced companies to finally move those safety audits out of the filing cabinets and onto the drawing boards. The single most transferable lesson from Pasadena is this: an organization's true safety culture is not defined by what its manuals say, but by what its managers do when a safety report identifies a small inconvenience. A safety report that sits unread is not a warning, it is a confession. We examine an incident where a single instrument reading was misinterpreted for 11 minutes before an offshore platform became unrecoverable. The Piper Alpha disaster: 167 people and a permit-to-work system that said everything was fine. Every disaster is a lesson written in steel and concrete. If you want to understand the mechanics of failure, join the investigation by subscribing. We'll see you in the next file.